Hello, my friends. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about our upcoming transition talk on the 18th of March here in Berkeley Springs. It's going to be a particularly interesting time, I can say, because I'm going to be the speaker. We had Penny Kelly scheduled for the 18th, and she is recuperating from an operation, and she'll be with us on the 13th of May. But in the meantime, what I thought I'd come and carry on like I have in the past. Usually I give a talk once a year or so, and it's been about 18 months or more since the last time. And so I thought I'd slip in here and talk a little bit about the future. For those of you who are not familiar with me, I'm a futurist. I'm the founder of the Arlington Institute about 35 years ago. And what I've done broadly that most people in the futures business don't do is I look at everything. We've looked at all the conventional kind of things, so economics and transportation and energy and so on, as well as what I call unconventional things, the different kind of levels of reality that are intangible, but still are a significant and integral part of how this all reality works. I've been at this for a long time, like I say, about 3.5 decades at least, and I've written 3 books and spent a lot of time in Washington at senior places and White House and other places, and have built a bit of a reputation for being kind of an out-of-the-box kind of guy. I used to have people call me up and say, we need somebody to give a speech and it's really out of the box. Would you come and talk? Well, that's kind of me. I'm pretty unconventional, and some people say creative in the way that I look at the future, and I'm the only one that I know of who is kind of steeped in the methodology and the mechanisms and the processes of looking in a systematic way about the future, who really looks big and broadly and, like I say, in this multi-dimensional kind of way about what's coming downstream. For close to 3 decades, it's been clear to me that this time that we're living in right now is coming. Started way back in the 80s, in the late 80s, and I was doing some work within the political realm and put together a study that got used at the highest levels of government about to see this convergence of all these things, social value shifts and the environment, technology, and all this, and you could see it. I could see it at least coming downstream, and so for literally decades now, I've been giving talks all over the world. I've been in, 120 different countries, and always kind of talking about what's coming and what the huge change was going to be. And now we find ourselves in the middle of it, and this is unlike anything that any of us have ever seen in our lifetimes, and you can easily make the case that it's a bigger change than any time in the history of, written history at least, of humans on this planet. This is a really, really, really big deal. It may be obvious to you. You may have the feeling of the uncertainty and all of the things that you held dear and you thought were real and that you trusted, and the news and the government or whatever it turned out to be is now kind of up in the air, and it's all or untethered from those structural elements that used to give us all comfort and, like I say, a sense of security and purpose and direction, for that matter. And that's the nature of a transition from one era to another one. That's it's only going to get worse in the short term. There are always kinds of reasons to believe that we're kind of started into what effectively is World War III. It's going to run for the next couple of years, and 2025 to 2027, there's going to be a global uprising that's across the planet, with people rising up against their governments and bringing down governments and essentially saying that you've betrayed us, you've taken us into this giant war, you did all this business with COVID and shots, and you're trying to mess with the food system and with the water and with the uh, electricity and power. And anyway, there's a huge kind of effort that's underway to use technology as the principal kind of mechanism to essentially generate a matrix that's very much like the movie, and to where each of us is individually controlled within the matrix, and we all largely provide the energy and the power to power the thing, and it's controlled by others who control the technology, and that's literally where it's going. This is a really, really, really big deal. On the other hand, there's a track that goes out where there's an emergence of this new human. And the new human is going to have all kinds of capabilities that far surpass all of the things that Google and Facebook and whoever else is trying to convince you that they're going to be able to provide for you. Quantum mechanics, quantum computers, and all of that kind of stuff, because we will be part of accessing the essential nature and the enabled kind of nature of who we are as human beings, which are very powerful and very capable, and so we'll become connected with the ability to have telepathy and to have manifest things and make them reality, and be able to anticipate futures and anticipate and be able to connect with intuition and so on. And that's the nature of this new human that's coming up. Well, the nature of this transition is so big and so epical that it's something that I have studied for a long time. And I'm not aware of anybody else who kind of looks at it in the way that we do here at the Arlington Institute, because we try to know a little bit about everything, and it's because it's all a big system, and it's all connected together. And so, and if you're going to make sense out of it, you have to see it in those kind of systemic kind of terms. And so, but I often do, have done in the past, is do a fairly lengthy talk, sometimes 3 and 4 hours, about what the kind of the update on what the system was about. But we're going to do it a little differently this time. And what I've always enjoyed doing is answering questions, and there's a lot of people that have questions. I mean, if you don't have questions about what's going on and what's coming this way, then you're not connected. I mean, you need to get engaged here, because this is a really, really big deal, and it's going to shape everything. It's going to shape the government. Is going to effectively kind of fail between now and like 3 years from now. The best guesses are that by the late 20s, 28, 29, something like that, that the United States exists no more. And it starts to reconfigure itself into 5 or 6 different countries in North America. And the European Union goes away. I mean, this is a really, really, really big deal. And to say nothing about crazy things like alien life and connecting with things off the planet and so on. And so this is a convergence of a variety of giant kind of vectors, if you will, that are all redefining this reality, and will be a whole new kind of environment that we live in going forward. And so it's really important to try to have an idea about where this is going. Otherwise, it's very uncertain, and like I said earlier, you're untethered from anything, and it generates fear. And that's the antithesis of where we want to be. We want to have a sense of purpose and a direction, and have some idea about the vision about where this new world is. And so what we've been doing here at the Arlington Institute for a long time is trying to think about that, trying to think about what are the worlds that are going to be on the horizon, what needs to happen between now and then to kind of produce those possibilities. And thirdly, how do you prepare yourself for all of that? And so if you're thinking at all in an organized way about what's going on in this world, and watching the political system degenerate, and fact that you can't make sense of it. You can't. Everybody's lying it to you. You can't make any tell who's on first base anymore, who's telling the truth. Here they're trying to start a nuclear war, a third world war, and all. I mean, it's just all part of a big organized attempt to collapse the present system and restart it. And that's kind of some of the stuff we'll talk about on Saturday the 13th. What I'll do is start off and talk a little bit about some of the new things that I've been seeing that are coming together, and a new kind of framework for how to think about all of this. And then we're going to open it up for questions, and we'll do it both by live stream and for those who attend here in Berkeley Springs. And so that anybody will have a chance to ask any kind of a question. And, if we can get this going, it'll really be fun, because you get a chance to really learn some of the details, some of the things that you've thought about and have questions about that I might have some answers for. And we'll, you'll have multiple chances to ask questions. And so it'll be a good solid from 1 o'clock till about 5 o'clock at night in the afternoon, and it'll be a really good time that you frankly you're seldom going to have a chance to really ask questions and kind of pursue things that are important to you in the way that you will here. So I hope you'll come and be with us. It's going to be quite interesting, and then we always get together for dinner. 30, 40 of us for dinner afterwards, and so that's always fun too. And it's great to see old friends here in our little resort town of Berkeley Springs, just 100 miles from Washington and Baltimore. It's a great little place, and we encourage you to come out and be with us. It's easy to get to from Washington or Baltimore. And so come and be with us. And if you can't make it, then plug in on the live stream, and we'll be able to field your questions that way and be able to answer them. And I will very much look forward to being with you all. So I look forward to it. So see you on the 13th of March. Take care.